It's mind-boggling to think of small dogs as a means of income for some. Some people may get dogs with the intention to sell them for profit, rather than having them as companions. Though these small pets are popular all around the world, oftentimes their health is poor and brittle. These small dogs need the care of responsible dog owners to protect and nurture them. This little Chihuahua named Brie was thrown into the streets because she was in extremely poor shape after giving birth. Her owners decided that because she wasn't able to give birth again, they no longer had any use for her. Brie was found on the streets by animal shelter workers. She was completely exhausted and hungry. The little Chihuahua was in extremely poor physical condition and was in desperate need of a warm home. After a few days, it was decided to post Brie's picture on the shelter's site. When Claire Stokoe saw Brie's picture online, she immediately decided that she needed to give that poor malnutrition puppy the home and love that she deserved. Soon afterwards, Claire called the rescue that posted the photo. The woman then embarked on a 600-mile trip to Wales to bring Brie home. When Claire arrived, Brie trembled and was afraid of Claire because she did not yet know that there were kind people in the world. It turned out that Brie's condition was much worse than Claire thought. The tiny dog was used for breeding despite the harm it was causing her. Claire was no longer confident that she would be able to help poor Brie. Brie had scars on her legs and scabs covered her ears. She was used for breeding and has had 2 litters. Her tiny body had to endure much more than it could handle. This little girl was also completely malnourished. Most likely, she did not receive enough food in her previous home. She also spent most of her life in the dark, as her eyes had trouble adjusting to light. Claire said, "When I first saw her, I was shocked. She was emaciated and trembled violently. I wondered for a second if she could even be helped at all. She looked horrible, and it was extremely sad." But as soon as Brie was released from her carrier in the car, Claire knew that she had done everything right when she decided to adopt the tiny creature. After all, the love that she could offer the tiny dog was going to be extremely helpful to her recovery. Claire continued, "As soon as I opened the carrier, she climbed on top of me and buried herself in my neck. I was stunned and just sat there, enjoying the feeling of her tiny breaths on my neck. But her and I soon both fell asleep in the back seat of the car." When she arrived in her new home, Brie met Claire's other dogs, Boudica, Dexter, and Vesper. They all became great friends. Claire recalled, Vesper went straight up to Brie as if Brie was her puppy. She sat down next to her immediately. Brie followed Vesper around everywhere, and Vesper let Brie get away with everything, even eating out of Vesper's bowl. Vesper even had a phantom pregnancy a month after I brought Brie. The vet said that Brie caused Vesper to experience a surge of hormones. Over time, the love that the Chihuahua received enabled her personality to come out. Claire says, "Brie does funny little things. For example, when we laugh, she covers her ears with her paws, opens her mouth, and makes a noise like a chimpanzee. It's the cutest thing I've ever seen." Brie still has health problems because of what her tiny body had to endure, but she's extremely happy in her new home and is not too bothered by her illness. According to Claire, Brie acts like a young puppy. She walks around the house, plays with toys, steals socks, and slides on the floor. "I have no idea how she survived 2 pregnancies, the cold, the fear, and the hunger," said Claire. "She is much stronger than me. That's for sure. She is a true inspiration." Now nothing can stop Brie from becoming the charismatic and loving dog that she was born to be. Little Tilly has been through a lot. The baby was wandering in the woods by herself when a tourist named Hiker found her by chance. The dog was so scared that the young man had to run after her to catch her. Her whole body was trembling, and she did not let herself be touched. The tourist called an animal assistance center in Missouri. He told them about the dog, and a representative from the center immediately went to the scene. The volunteer spent 2 hours trying to catch the small and nimble dog. She stayed determined to catch the dog despite the scratches. As soon as Hilly was in the arms of her rescuer, the woman realized that she wanted to adopt her. She decided to treat and keep the dog, no matter the cost. At the time, Tilly weighed 3 kilos, which indicated severe malnourishment. She had rotten teeth and big bald spots. The woman brought Tilly to her car and gave her some food. Of course, hunger overcame fear, and the dog eagerly pounced on the treats that she was offered. Since it was the evening, all the vets were closed. The rescuer brought Tilly home, who spent the night in her rescuer's bed. The dog curled up in a ball and watched the new owner closely, as if studying her. In the morning, Tilly was taken to a vet who examined her and revealed some shocking facts. It turned out that the dog was about 10 to 12 years old and had given birth many times. Most likely the dog was used solely for the purpose of breeding and was dumped in the woods when she got sick. But that's not all. When the vet examined Tilly's stomach, he felt 2 hard lumps. At first, he thought that the dog had cancer, but luckily, the diagnosis was not confirmed. It turned out that old Tilly was pregnant again. 4 days after her rescue, the dog gave birth to 2 puppies. Unfortunately, one of them didn't make it, but the other one, named Teddy, did. Tilly cared for her baby tenderly and did not leave him even for a minute. Once little Tilly had a bit more age on her, she found her forever home with friends of the owner, which enabled the owner to do what was necessary for Tilly. Tilly's rotten teeth were removed. She only had 10 remaining healthy teeth. The treatment did Tilly a lot of good. She recovered quickly, grew her fur back, and she became more active. She became friends with the other dogs living in the house and received all the love and care. Even though she won't ever forget about how unkind humans have been to her, she is much happier now. We are happy that Tilly gets to age with dignity. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, then let me know in the comments below. Also share it with your friends and family.